Good evening, Golden Desert. As we get ready to start synchronous varsity XSTEM and synchronous JV and varsity debate, we want to make sure that we understand how to use the system. So obviously we're on Tab Room for the tournament. We're using NSDA Campus, which logs in through Tab Room. So the first thing that we need to do is check and make sure that we can log into our Tab Room account. If you have never verified your email address with Tab Room, it may ask you to verify your email address before you're able to log in. So please make sure that you check your email address and that you do that verification if you've never verified your account. But once we log into our account, if you don't see a page like this that has sort of an existing tournament registrations on it, you're going to want to click on your email address again, make sure that you're on this internal page, and then you should see a button that says something like Dashboard. And when I click the dashboard button, the very first thing I see at the top of my dashboard is the Canyon Springs Squadroom. So as the coach of Canyon Springs, I have access to the Squadroom. So do all of my students who are in the tournament, as well as any judge who is associated with my team and judging at the tournament. So if you are not a student who is registered to compete at the tournament, you don't have access to your team's squad room. If you are not a judge who is judging at the current tournament, you don't have access to your team's squad room. All coaches associated with the team always have access to the squad room. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my little video icon here, and it's going to take me into the squad room. And I want to test this because squad rooms and all of NSDA Campus run off of Jitsy's meeting platform. So as you can see, I have to be using Chrome if I'm on a computer. So if you don't currently have Chrome installed on your computer, you need to make sure that you install Chrome on your computer. And if for any reason you are planning to use a mobile device like an iPad or a phone, then you need to make sure that you've downloaded Jitsi Meeting for Android or iOS prior to your competition, or you won't be able to log on to the platform. So you want to make sure that you do that ahead of time, and you'll also, the first time you log in, need to give permission for the program to access your camera and your microphone. That's pretty standard for all video platforms, right? So if you don't get that immediately when you go to click on your microphone or your camera, it should then prompt you to allow it to use the microphone and the camera. I'm not going to turn on my microphone because that would cause some really serious feedback right now, but you will see all of the options for cameras for your computer. You'll see sort of a preview when you click on that button down on your camera. And then you can click on starting your camera. You'll also see all of your options for your microphones and all of your options for your speakers. If you are using a headset, make sure that you're using the headset for your speakers and for your microphone. Right now my speakers are set to be the speakers on my computer, and that would cause some really serious feedback too. So I would need to make sure that I reset that to my headphones instead. It's asking me right now if I'm talking because it can kind of sense that I'm talking, but I don't want to unmute, so I'm going to click that. Over here you'll see the raise hand feature, and you'll see that that pops up over here. So if you're in Congress, that's going to be a really useful feature to attempt to ask questions, especially if you're in one of the larger Congress rooms. If you have a question for a judge, you might want to use that raise your hand feature. Might use it in Grand Cross if everybody's not able to turn on their camera, etc. And at least in the squad room, we have a chat over here that we can open up. You'll notice that there's no options to like send a private chat like you might have in Zoom. So any chat that you have will be had with the entire room. And remember, this is a speech and debate event, and you are beholden to the honor code. So anything that you put in the chat should be appropriate for everyone who can see the chat to see. You'll also see 3 little dots over here that say more actions. So this would be where in a round I might want to go out to full screen, or I might need to manage my video quality. So you're not going to see a big difference here because it's just me in this meeting right now. But if I turn on my camera, I'm in pretty high definition right now, so I can go to manage my video quality. I can turn that video quality down to standard definition. It doesn't make much of a difference when I'm the only person in the room, but if I need to go all the way down here to low bandwidth, you'll see it automatically turn my camera off. So if you're really having trouble with bandwidth in the room, you can come over here and test and see if maybe low definition is going to allow you to keep your camera on while you're doing like crossfire or cross-examination. But if you're not, we understand that there are limitations to our bandwidth usage. You can go over here to low bandwidth. It'll automatically turn your camera off and help you to also make sure that the video that's coming into your camera is low bandwidth quality, so that that's not taking up a lot of your bandwidth either. You're seeing people in lower definition than their cameras are capable of producing. We also see over here there's a file share option. You are free to test this file share option, but it is new. So if you would prefer to use an email chain or a shared Google document or to share Google documents with one another, we fully support you using whatever evidence sharing method you and your opponents agree upon. And we also have a timer over here. These are your personal timers. They are not shared timers throughout the round, but we do have prep timers for both teams. If you want to make sure that you're not using too much prep time and neither are they, or you can add time onto these. They're naturally set to be prep timers. You could add time onto these so that they're speech timers instead. But your judge is not going to see these timers. If your judge is using the timers, you won't see what their timers say. We recommend that everyone time themselves and each other at all times. That's just a good debate standard of practice. And you'll also notice that if there's more than one person in the room, there will be a little timer running up here on top that says it's keeping track of speaking time of people in the room, but it is not. So do not attempt to use that when you see it when there's multiple people in the room. It doesn't actually tell the truth about any sort of time. It's really keeping track of how long it's been since a new person has spoken. So if you came into the room, you said hi to your friends, none of them were actually there, so you had to message them on the team Discord channel, and it's 15 minutes later before any of them say hello to you, your speaking time will show up as 15 minutes. So do not trust that speaking timer that will show up. It's not real. Time yourself, time each other, have the judge time you. Everybody time, and everything will be okay. If you're having trouble getting into the squad room, that does indicate that you might have trouble getting into the rounds. So it is a very good idea to come in, test your ability to enter the squad room ahead of time, make sure that everything looks okay in here, message a friend, get them to come in and make sure that your camera looks okay. And as long as they're also enrolled in the tournament and on your team, they can come in and check that. So that's what you have access to right now. Once you have a round, that round will show up on your dashboard as well. You'll see the same kind of camera icon. Judges, competitors will all see that camera icon. You'll notice that there's not really a link here, and like I can't click on it and find a link. You have to click on the camera icon. It's the only way into the room, and they are closed to spectators. The only people who can get into the room are the people whose tab room accounts are linked to that ballot, or the people who are working for the tournament. Okay, so we regret that your younger novices, your friends, your mom can't easily come in and see you compete, but this is the best way that we have to keep you safe during competition, and we hope that you can appreciate the trade-offs that we've had to make. So we are really looking forward to seeing you tomorrow and Saturday. If you have any questions, ask your coach and they will forward questions to the committee. Thanks so much. See you, Golden Desert.